Now, the internet had a field day after HUD Secretary Ben Carson was exposed again as a moron who cares nothing about housing policy. Now, as usual, it's progressives that gave Carson the hardest time, starting with Representative Ayanna Pressley, who said this.
Mr. Secretary, since I am short on time here, yes or no, is stable and safe housing a social determinant of health?
Sounds like you have not been here and heard most of my testimony.
Please just answer the question, reclaiming my time. Yes or no, is stable and safe housing a social determinant of health?
There is no question that housing is an important part of health.
Yes or no?
No question that it's a part of health.
It is well documented that health problems such as lead poisoning, asthma, and injuries from trips and falls, especially amongst our senior population, can be linked to substandard housing conditions. Combined, these conditions result in billions a year in healthcare costs. Many of those most at risk of developing these conditions reside in public and federally assisted housing. Yes or no? If left unaddressed, do you believe the substandard public housing conditions pose a risk to tenants' physical, mental, and emotional health? If left unaddressed.
Yes or no? Can you ask me some questions yourself?
You don't get to
Stop
dictate
reading
what my
this
line
other
of
stuff.
questioning is, reclaiming my time. You're a very smart
You can
man,
reclaim
so
it all
you
you want.
understand the question. Please answer it. Yes or no, if left unaddressed, which I believe they are unaddressed because this budget does not reflect the need, do you believe the substandard public housing conditions pose a risk to tenants' physical, mental, and emotional health?
You already know the answer to that.
Yes or no?
You know the answer.
Yes or no? I know the answer. Do you know the answer? Yes or no?
Reclaiming my time.
You don't get to do that.
The time belongs to the gentle lady.
You don't get to do that. Oh, I love it when progressives are strong. Ayanna Pressley coming out swinging. And Ben Carson, again, looking like an absolute idiot. Reclaiming my time. No. Only she can reclaim her time. And again, she took, she took no BS. Moving on. Let's get to the next question. Answer the question, or let's just go. And of course, he continued to dodge the question because he doesn't, for one, he doesn't know. For two, he doesn't care at all when it comes to those questions. Now, Representative Katie Porter, of course, came out as well and asked tough questions about real estate-owned properties, or REOs, and he confused it with a cookie. He started talking about Oreos. So now, after that whole train wreck of a hearing, social media decided to pile on, starting with Representative Porter. She said this after she tweeted out a video of their exchange, quote, "I asked Secretary Carson about REOs, basic term related to foreclosure, at a hearing today. He thought I was referring to a chocolate sandwich cookie. No, really. Yes, really." More tweets, and these are fun. Tim Rogers says, though to be fair, it's not like this is brain surgery. Lane Brooks says, does any Trump cabinet officer know anything about their jobs? Well, the answer to that, of course, is no. I mean, why would you need to know anything about the place you're there to destroy? It's the logical evolution of republicanism. Their entire ideology, if you look at it, is government doesn't work. Government bad. And so, of course, they make sure that to do everything in their power to make sure that it never works. They are political nihilists. Albus Dimpledot says, and that's a funny name, by the way, Stormy Daniels is the only person Trump ever hired who was qualified for the job. Bird. In his own right says, can we check those brain surgeon credentials on Ben? R. Bellingham says, while he's out buying $31,000 tables, which is true, I've waited 3 years for housing assistance as a disabled senior. That's terrible. Ken Montville says, damn it, Jim. I'm a retired neurosurgeon, not a housing expert. Kudos for the Star Trek reference. Jennifer Hayden says, every single member of the Trump's cabinet is uniquely and wholly unqualified for their roles, but perhaps none more unqualified than Ben Carson. No, I will actually disagree with that. I believe it's Betsy DeVos. She literally bought her seat. The only reason that Ben Carson is there is because Donald Trump, he's a racist, and he thought, oh, housing and urban development. Urban. No, I'll appoint the black guy. Come on. You know it. And then finally, Adam Best says, Ben Carson's Oreo gaffe, Betsy DeVos and her imaginary grizzly bear, Rick Perry not knowing the name of the department he oversees. It's time to cancel Who's the Dumbest Cabinet Member. After 2.5 seasons, it's gone on far too long. Agreed. This reality show is terrible. It has to end. And for God's sakes, hopefully, this election or even beforehand, it does. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent progressive media.